Let's get it how you want it. Okay, Glenn. So I'm hitting slideshow. You don't have to get up.
Make sure she's made you co-host.
Let me do that real quick.
Oh, she heard me.
Here's Kelly's face.
So once you get down here, you'll be able to, when she makes you co-host, you'll be able to
share that screen.
She hasn't done it yet. And then that's right.
She'll bring.
Yeah. Oh, you just pick that, double click that, or how. Now you're sharing the screen.
But it's not. It's this. How do I get it back to the full screen? Oh, now I just hit it from beginning. That's right. Okay. And to stop, I go back. Okay.
5-minute warning, guys.
Dive. Michael, what's up? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Indeed. Actually. You know you would be fast and look to see what you Number of people respond to say, that's not know what we don't want.
Glenn, do you put up the slideshow and have like the welcome slide up when people walk in, or do you just leave it so we can see everybody? Kelly, are you at work?
I am.
Are we in your office right now?
Huh?
We're in your office right now?
I'm in my office right now.
Beautiful. You've got a window.
I do. I love my office is very nice. We're over here at Oak Point Retreat Center.
Beautiful.
It is lovely. Yes, I'm eating my lunch at my desk, but I'll be in there in person next week.
Nice. It's nice to get a little natural sunlight.
I love it. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
They did last year. Habitat got some last year.
There's that. You know, talk to you.
Grant money from the city.
Yeah.
Remember that year?
Thank you.
I don't know if it's a computer, but the gain is up so high. It sounds like crickets faintly. Do you hear it?
Yeah,
There's nothing to do about it. I don't think it's sound board.
Yeah, sure.
It's a trial. We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Oh, you are. Oh, yeah.
Check, check.
I'm gonna move this down a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So you don't just have this.
Just a floating head.
Oh, what's for dessert?
Peach cobbler.
Pie. They have pie.
You know what? Put a little honey on that. That's a dessert. Oh, that sounds horrible.
Hello, everybody. How is everyone today?
Excellent.
Peter's doing well back there. He's got the pen. Yeah. I know. Yeah, those I can see. John, Kelly, y'all can see them back there loading up plates, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all are missing some good food.
I don't know.
Okay, do we have any guests today other than just our guest? Okay, and Joanna will do a fabulous introduction of Mr. Michael in a few moments. So thank you. Yes, yes. So welcome again, everyone. If you will, please join Fred in our invocation.
I cannot. How do you?
Would you bow with me, please? Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you have created. It's a day of an opportunity for service and to reflect on friendships and to have fellowship and fun here at Plano West Rotary. And at the same time, it's with a heavy heart that we lost one of our former members this past Sunday. And you know, we talk about all the objects of the Rotary, but at the same time, there's an intrinsic value of it. It's friendship, it's support, and it's a great opportunity for us to provide service for those who are less fortunate. We ask you to bless this meeting, bless the families that are here and those that are not here, and help us have a great balloon fest too, because you're in control of the weather. Amen.
Thank you, sir. And now Michelle is going to lead us in the pledge.
Hold on. Who passed away? Fred, you didn't say who.
He's going to talk about it in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Hello, would everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now Fred's going to talk.
For those of you that are new to Rotary, you missed out on meeting a great Rotarian. His name was Vince Walsh, and he owned a business in Plano by named Best Way Office Supply. And he supplies us with all of our paper and so forth, and he was running the business. And his son, John, who was in the Kiwanis Club, took over that when Vince retired. He was married for 60 some odd years. But talking about a faithful husband and a faithful family member, his lovely bride came down with Alzheimer's, and he's been keeping her the last 10 or 15 years. He really dedicated his life to taking care of her. And anyway, Beverly's right here. And you know, sometimes we take marriage for granted, but that's exactly what our vows say, for better, for worse and stuff. And of course, I get the better and Janet gets the worse for me. But anyway, he was a great friend, great Rotarian. When I first got into Rotary, it was organized, but at the same time, you really need maybe an executive secretary, and Vince filled that role great. And he gave me a lasting tribute too. When he retired, he gave me the pecan sales. So I'm trying to find somebody else that wants the pecan sales. But anyway, and that will start up in November. But and Vince was it was interesting because he was the morning person at Balloon Fest, and I was the evening person and stuff. But had a heart of gold, great person. I'm going to miss him a lot, and but we lost a great Rotarian. Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. We're talking about Vince. This one quick thing I want to mention, that all of our like Rotary get-together dinners that had the cloth napkins. His wife used to like to take those, put them on her head, and pretend she was Sister Mary Catherine. That annoyed Vince, and he'd always snatch it away from her. But I'll never forget the time that we drove around Lukenbach, Texas with Vince and Beverly and my wife Janice, and we went to Lukenbach and actually drank a couple beers right there where they play in Lukenbach. And if you've ever been to Lukenbach, that's really all there is. It's a post office and an outdoor music kind of stage. But we happened to be there on the weekend that was motorcycle weekend. And I'll never forget, I mean, we were there and watching it, and there was contests where there'd be a guy driving the bike and a girl on the back, and they had like a swing set up with a hot dog covered in mustard. And the girl on the back, the idea was you had to drive under that and get a hold of the hot dog. I mean, their face be covered in mustard. It was hilarious. And then there was this old timer event where whoever could take the longest without putting their feet on the ground to drive their motorcycle, I don't know, maybe 100 yards or so. And like a 1920s or 30s Harley won that. So some good times with Vince. Let's start with brags. Anybody gonna brag and move today out here at Normus? Okay.
I have two brags. One, wow, Kelly's dog is so cute. There was a picture. She was at the festival we worked this weekend. There's this amazing picture, tongues hanging out. Super, super cute dog. That's one brag. My other brag is someone that some of you know, but most of you don't. My wife, Catherine. She is an amazing sister. Right now, at this very time, there are family emergencies with both of her siblings. And I drove her out to the airport just this morning so she could go be boots on the ground and help take care of one of them. So amazing person. They're very lucky to have her, as am I.
Thank you. Anybody else want to brag? Go ahead.
I would like to first brag on your haircut. It's very nice. The beard, the hair, and the little extra piece. Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, okay. Well, I didn't want that to go without acknowledgement, so I wanted to brag on that. And the second brag is that I went back. Yeah, me too. So I guess he's not talking to me. I wanted to brag on about an hour ago. I finished my last class, so when I retired from the city of Plano, I've been teaching professional development classes for the last 6 years and developed some great relationships. And it's been hard to finish those contracts out after going back to work full time. And about an hour ago at the city of Frisco, I finished the last one. So I'm down to one job.
Tell you what, there's nothing quite like getting a little bit further along in your career and shedding some load. Benton.
Brag another story on Vince Walsh. So he took over presidency of our club when we were $72,000 in debt from a concert fundraiser that did not work the way we thought it might work. The Beach Boys showed up at the Ranger game that same night and we were screwed. So but we had a good concert, just nobody came. So he was stuck, the next president, with his debt and 25,000 at one bank, 25 at another, and then 22,000 unsecured. And none of it was secured. So Vince was president. Well, he had a heart attack during that time. And he just had surgery and bounced right back. And he told me, he said, Benton, I was going home every night, laying in a big leather chair with a basket full of Snickers right next to me. And I'd eat those Snickers until I had dinner. And then I'd go to sleep in the chair. And then I'd get up and go to bed. He got on a health kick lost weight, got color in his face. That was the end of the Snickers in the Barking Lounge or whatever it was. And I feel like the Lord helped us get rid of all that debt. We paid off the 22,000, got the other 50 forgiven. And I was the secretary, the treasurer during all that time. So I was working with him on it and screwing up the books and all that kind of good stuff. So after I finished being treasurer, we got a software package.
QuickBooks. So I'd like to congratulate Mr. Posey. He's having pie for lunch, and that's it. It looks like I'm jealous. Is that peach or apple? Peach. Great. Anybody over here want to brag? Okay.
I want to set the record straight, but it's not about me. It's about Mike Walker. When Joey took over as president, Mike at that time was uncertain whether he was going to be able to help with Balloon Fest. I said, well, I'll take it. And it was in name only, really. I was praying a lot that it would not turn out that way. But anyway, it's unbelievable the amount of we talk about what goes on behind the scenes and everything. And Mike, and he's been doing this for years and years. He makes it look so easy and everything. If he can set away his, golf game and do that, then everything's fine. But anyway, no, I mean, seriously, you've done a tremendous job and everything. And I think this year, the new cookers, not having to deal with the trailer and everything, like you said, we ought to make a killing out there and stuff. Hopefully the temperatures won't be as hot as they said they're going to be. Otherwise, you may have to take me.
Just as long as we don't have rain, I don't care what the temperature is.
Anyway. But anyway, I think Mike Walker deserves that.
And I tell you what, the logistics behind that is pretty big to get everything, make sure everything's working and all the batter and oil and everything else that goes along with that to get it just ready to go. And then setup, if you've never been involved with setup, I mean, you're starting out from scratch and got to make the batter and fill the fryers with oil and get it all ready for go time. So online, is there anybody that wants to share a brag? Go ahead.
I will. I just wanted to brag on myself for traveling to Turkey all by myself and making it back safely.
Good. Awesome.
Yes, I had a wonderful time, and we're already planning a return trip back after the kids graduate high school in 2024. So,
what was your favorite thing you saw?
Fantastic.
The people. And I went to oh God, I would love to give you guys a little slideshow, but the beach was wonderful, but the people were very warm and loving. And the whole place was beautiful. It's hard to pick just one thing that I miss the most or that I enjoyed the most. I did eat fresh figs off the tree for the first time ever, and I am totally obsessed with figs now. They were delicious. Oh my gosh. It was great. We had a wonderful time. Thank you all for your encouragement and support.
Amazing.
Our pleasure. Thank you. One last brag. Anybody want to brag? Go ahead. I didn't see you.
Not an odd brag, but my first year of college, I went to the University of Alabama, and I was friends with a lot of people. I know. Well, I have to be both. It's a balance between being an Alabama fan and a UT fan because that's where my son graduated. So I know the game was for me. Anyhow, my first year at Alabama, I was good friends with all of these swimmers that had just come
from the 1984 Olympics. And I happened to be friends with them. That was kind of my social circle. And my best friend, my first year of college at University of Alabama, was a swimmer from New Zealand who placed, I think, 7th or 8th, 100 meter, 200 meter backstroke in the 1984 Olympics. We traveled around Europe together. We backpacked around Europe together. I don't know, like in 87, maybe. I have been looking for her for over 30 years. Wow. I have not been able to find her, and I just found her, and I'm going to go see her in January in New Zealand. I'm so excited.
That's amazing.
Because I was telling my husband this morning, I was like, I didn't even know where New Zealand was on the map when I met her. But she talked about how beautiful it was for so many years to me, for a couple of years. We didn't have Facebook back then. So we couldn't really keep up with people. And she didn't have, I couldn't find her on Facebook because I didn't know her married name. So I finally found her on the New Zealand Olympic page under her married name. So wow. The internet, it's amazing what you can find on the internet.
Work right there.
It was. I mean, it really has taken me years to find her. So anyhow, that's my kind of an odd.
You know, before Facebook, when I was college, it was called shit face.
Make your feet.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Kelly, we would love for you to be one of the programs and do share slides because, oh my gosh, your pictures on Facebook, it looked like it was just this, welcome, Kelly. Oh,
I would be flattered if you would invite me to do that. And I would probably just take maybe 10 minutes of your time.
Joanna will reach out to you. She's our program person.
That would be awesome. I have so much to share. Thank you. I'll make it an educational experience.
Yes, yes. For those of us that won't get to travel to Turkey, you can help us to feel like we're there.
Exactly. Okay, thanks.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and now we have Glenn is going to do a service project spotlight for us.
So for 5 or 6 years, we've been doing this Adopt a Highway. You guys probably know what that is. Our highway is Avenue K between Spring Creek, you know, the Sam's right there, all the way to Parker. And so every other month we do that. We did this last Saturday. We had 8 show up. We limited at 10. We don't want too many people show up. It's hard to manage, et cetera. And we meet at a place pretty much in the middle. And then we have a team go to Parker, across the street, come back. We have a team go to Spring Creek, cross the street and come back. And we get a lot of kids come out, you know, needing the service hours, and we get Rotarians coming out. We had Joanna this last time, and Michelle and me. Fred comes out sometimes. One of the things we try to do is you can find some weird stuff. So it's kind of
give us your top 3.
Well, I'm getting there. So the game a lot of times is okay, what'd you find that's kind of weird? And we found, Tom Posey, we found $20 bills. We thought we found a $100 bill, but he took it to the bank. It looked real. He took it to the bank and they said, no. But they said, we'll keep it. We're like,
hold on, wait a minute.
So this time, on our side, it was kind of guys against girls, which you didn't really think it was going to be that way, but it was. On the Parker side, we found a pair of pants. Nobody missing that we could see that missed them. I don't know. We found an office chair, pretty nice office chair. You know, a coin here and there. Always a bunch of masks, especially a year or so ago. Man, that's what we picked up, was tons of masks. Always a lot of little, you know, here's your Johnny Walker or whatever, you know, these things.
Fireball.
Yeah, fireballs. That's right. But so we thought we had a pretty good deal. We had a office chair, pair of pants, a couple other things I can't remember. So we got back and we compared notes, and the winner was Joanna. They found a downed hawk and I don't know the story, but she called and somebody, the city or somebody wanted her to try to.
It wasn't the city.
Somebody.
Do you want me to tell?
Sure.
I mean, it'll be very abbreviated version. So it was a juvenile hawk that was down next to the fence line. And it was almost completely camouflaged by its coloring because it was in this brownish, yellow, rack and on the side. Anyway, and it wasn't moving, but it was alive because I could see its head move. So I called the Blackland Prairie Raptor Center. And for some stupid reason, she thought I was in Fort Worth. And she said, well, she couldn't come because I was in Fort Worth. So could I catch it? And I was like, I guess. So I went to Walmart. I got a towel and a plastic tote. And I brought it back. When I brought it back, it had gone to the other side of the fence, but it was still down. All right. So I got over the fence and I walked toward it. And while I walked toward it, it got inspired. And Michelle saw it fly, or she said, it kind of saw it fly to the top of this church. It was right across. What had happened was there was a dead rabbit in the middle of the road, and it was probably feeding on that, and it got hit by a car. So anyway, thank you. Yeah.
So anyway, it's hard to beat that one. But so we do this every couple of months, and it's an hour and a half. Well, Sean's done it, Joy's done it, several people have done it. We started in the summer. I started early, like 8 before it gets too hot. And then as it gets cool, we'll start at 9 or maybe even 10, like in January or 2 or something when it gets real cold. But it takes an hour and a half. And we had 8 bags of grass and a chair and a hawk. No. Anyway, we always collect more than you think, so come out sometime and join us.
That was awesome. I think the time I did it, we found a coffee pot back in the brush. There was a coffee pot back. I mean, I had the carafe and everything, coffee machine and everything. So anyways, thank you for that, Glenn. Appreciate it. So club business, we have quite a few things going on. I went ahead and included a couple of our October events that are coming up. So you can see those on the slide. The main thing I wanted to just highlight and kind of ask your opinion on is the holiday party. So I mentioned last week that Laura is looking for someone to host a holiday party for Plano West at their home. To my knowledge, no one has volunteered for that. So I would like to see, by way of hands or nods or something, how many might be interested in us doing it with the other Plano clubs, to where it's a holiday party for the 6 Plano clubs instead of doing an individual. So is that something anybody would be interested in? Yes.
I'd also reach out to using and see if he's in position to hold.
That would be awesome. There we go. And it's being recorded, Steve said. Y'all are going to be in for a treat. Those of you that didn't get to go last year, because it's like a winter wonderland on steroids. It's Clark Griswold, but in Allen. So inside, outside, every room decorated to the hilt. It was amazing, and such great host and hostess. Okay, well then we'll wait and see what Gary says on that, and revisit this in another week or 2. The other thing, the Plano Balloon Festival will highlight. So those of you that are here, if Mike hasn't already given you your bands or parking passes, please make sure you get with him before you leave today, because this does start Thursday. And it looks like we're pretty full. I've seen a couple of people canceling one, but taking a different slot and stuff. And because Fred got onto me, I canceled 2 of the slots I had signed up for, to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to go out there and play and get unlimited funnel cakes for the afternoon or morning. So if you haven't signed up for that, please go online and check and see what spots might still be available. We would love to have you. It's going to be lots of fun. And the other thing, the last thing I wanted to mention is the Plano International Festival. So I don't have a great deal of information on the event itself, but it's my understanding that the Plano clubs have done a booth at the International Festival each year, minus COVID, where they have an actual water pump system for the kids to come and play with and see what it's like in the other countries that don't have the amenities and luxuries that we have here in the US. So we have paid a portion of the due or the vendor fee for that, along with the other 5 Plano clubs. So all 6 clubs will be participating. So please be watching for, and oh no, it's on the line already. The service project is listed online under the service projects. So if you have time and would like to go out and participate in that, I think there's some setup, tear down, but then there's also men in the actual Rotary booth spots as well. So I'd love to have everybody out, and it'll be my first experience. So I'm anxious to see. The kids get a little passport that they take around and get stamps on. And I believe the whole back side of this passport is the Rotary Club information for the 6 clubs. So it's a great opportunity to share about Rotary, who we are, what we do, and why we're so awesome. So go online, check that out. And with that, I will invite Joanna up to introduce. Oh, yes, hold on.
Sorry. So today is our first time to do the buffet. Your drink. So when you go out, you just tell them you had the buffet, maybe add a tip, but I mean, that's all you need to do. And so if we, give me feedback on food and stuff like that, but that's how you do it.
So yes, we want feedback on selection as well as the process of it, so that we know, because we can change it up and do different things each week. So today, for those of you online, you're missing chicken fried steak.
All right, we are so pleased this afternoon to have with us Michael Ray. He is the Media Relations Manager for the North Texas Tollway Authority. I said toll tag earlier. That is incorrect. He's going to talk to us about their future plans for north of us. And that it'll be interesting to see that in juxtaposition with what we heard from Duncan Webb. Mr. Ray has been the media relations manager for the NTTA for 11 years. He was a helicopter-born traffic reporter on the KVIL show. Wow. Served on the sideline as a reporter for Dallas Cowboy games. Finished his broadcast career. He worked at WFAA and finished his broadcast career at KDAF, and he is a graduate of North Texas. So there you go. Let's give a Rotary welcome to Michael Ray.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. A lot of interesting stories and a tough follow, but I shall soldier on and try to do so. As Joe said, I am with the North Texas Tollway Authority, and what we find is, first of all, thank you for the opportunity, especially post-pandemic. We are so glad to get out and be able to see faces, see our customers, talk with people, and just generally be with the public. I think a lot of us probably feel that way. So thank you again for the opportunity. So whether you are new here, which I don't know that a lot are, but even some people who have been here a while, I think generally have questions about the tollway. So I am here to answer those questions. So first and foremost, we were founded just over 25 years ago. And what happened was the local elected officials banded together. They knew they needed some development in the area, and they weren't able to get it done with the funds at hand, generally through the Texas Department of Transportation. So they were investigating doing it through tolls. And what they wanted to do was form a regional tollway authority, in this case, the North Texas Tollway Authority, to make sure that the money collected in tolls didn't go to under the impression that we are, Siri, take a break. Might be under the impression that we are from, I've heard Spain, China, Saudi Arabia. Again, we are a government entity. We're of Texas. We don't build with the asks us to build. I think that's another is that people say, where are you going to put your next flag? What happens is, and I know familiar with this Council of Governments, is a plan that they go out 30 years and decide where roads will go, be extended, etc. And if they opt to build a toll road, they come to us, we're in the area, and say, would you like to build a toll road? Again, we're at the end of the scope piece. So we only build what they ask to build. Customer driven, we have to be customer. And we're asking people to pay to use our service. We have to be safe, clean, and active, and hopefully get you to your destination in a good clip and do so safely. That always comes first. And we feel like we built some very nice toll roads that are very, and again, we are funded by taxes. Everything we do by the tolls we collect. We borrow money through bonds, build these roads, and we repay it with the tax. This is our board of directors. I mentioned before, when people say who does the local control, the County Commissioners Court in each of our 4-member counties appoints 2 board members and also a government representative. There right now, our chairman, John Walsh from Denton County, our vice chair, Jane Willard, is from Collin County, and the other board members as assigned there. PGBT or Sam Rayburn Airport. Siri, you're getting on my nerves now. So that is what makes up our system presently. So it's pretty widespread. We were asked to build by the region a toll road system, and we feel like we've accomplished that, but there's still more to do. So taking a look at it by the numbers, believe it or not, we do 2.8 million transactions per day. A transaction is going through a toll. That would be on all of our roadways. We also have agreements with the airports. They do the charging. So as a friend of mine recently called me up and blasted me, if you get a problem with the airport, they do the tolling. We just do the processing, and what are called Texpress lanes that you see in the middle of roadways are now across North Texas. We don't own or operate those. We don't set the tolls, but we do allow the toll tag to be used in these facilities, and that way you get value. If you invest in having a toll tag and do that, you get the convenience of using these systems. So we serve about 14 million customers per year. Of those, more than 6 million have a toll tag they keep. How many people have a toll tag? Okay, so you know the drill. It's a prepaid account, it's convenient, you don't have to watch for bills in the mail. And if you do, for folks who don't get the toll tag, they use zip cash, which means you are sent a bill in the mail and you have to kind of keep tabs on that. Thank you for having a toll tag. Really, really appreciate that. It helps us get the best value for our customers and helps put it back into the road. We have a 95% customer satisfaction rating. That is based on a third party. It's not where we answer the phone and say, you're good? Okay, good. No, we have a survey agency that does that. So we feel like customer service, which is where a lot of people meet us. I mean, you can drive the roads a lot, but you might have something, your credit card might go out, or there may be some irregularity and you call us. So customer service is where we have to really shine, because as I said, we're a customer driven organization. So again, as we talked about at the beginning, we're going to do some projects updating. If you
I'm so sorry. That is me. I'm having issues.
I think the takeaways are that we are a development organization when you look at it. Where we build roads, development follows. And if you've gone through Frisco lately, you see a couple of hospital projects, everything Jerry Jones is doing, and a variety of high rises that have sprung up along the Frisco area. You can see why we have to widen it, add that additional lane, because so many people are moving here. We want to keep it as decongested as possible. So we build what we can afford, we build what is environmentally responsible, and then we inevitably widen and improve that. So you're seeing a lot of development take stage in Frisco itself. And each day it seems there's a report in the news about a new development, land bought, building starts. So hopefully we can keep this economy on track and keep moving, but we're building the roads. And as I said, the development will follow. This is, as I mentioned earlier, we added an additional lane to George Bush. It's about a 50+ mile tollway that extends from Garland to Grand Prairie, widened that and completed that. And the Sam Rayburn Tollway have widened that. So we took added an additional lane in the center, tried to have as little impact to traffic as possible during construction. That's inevitable. There's always going to be disruption. There will be on the Dallas North Tollway as we widen it. But again, we're building towards a future that is demanded by the number of people who move here. And those are the details there. Again, from Sam Rayburn up to US 380. It'll also include some ramp work, that enormous PGA Parkway development. Well, we're going to change the bridge up north at Fields because there'll be so much traffic in and out. We'll be widening that bridge and adding a Texas U-turn. And before you know it, they're going to have all these world-class golf tournaments up there. So this is another little project that's about to be finished up. I think they're about to open this. This is, you can see this is north even of 380 in the area I'm talking about, Salina and Prosper. This is eventually going to be the southbound service road of the Dallas North Tollway. They're building, Denton County is essentially building this early to get development in even sooner than we plan to go up that far north with the main lane. So they're just about to forward to that, and just another part of the wall. That's the bridging that you see up north as well. So breaking it down by, people want to say, where do my tolls go? What happens when I give you my money? 25% goes to operations and maintenance. And we'll talk more about maintenance in a minute, but it's ongoing. It's always something. I look at it as it's a concrete road, but it's kind of a living, breathing entity because it always has to be work done in some way, shape, or form. 56% goes towards debt service. You kind of know that with your home mortgage, there's always money to pay for having borrowed that money. As I said, we borrow way more than $9 billion to invest in these roads. And then 19% kind of goes back into the system. And that way we do these capital improvements you're hearing about and expand the road. So again, routine maintenance can be anything. The asphalt concrete gets torn up. It could be debris that gets on the side of the road, damage to the roadway. We try to use native grasses, things that require little maintenance, little water. That way it's friendly to the environment. It's friendly to expenses, but we do want to have a good looking road. But we know we always kind of walk that line of people say, boy, I don't need a pretty road, I just need a road. Well, you have to hold the soil in place and whatnot. So we do need to have some landscaping in there. And then the thing that people don't think about routine maintenance the past couple of years, as you well know, the storms that we have had have required a lot of material to go on the road to de-ice and to make sure that they're safe. Safety comes first and foremost. So spends a lot of money. Here's something I'd like you to put in your phone, if you don't mind. It's pound 999, hashtag is the kids say. That is a free connection to us. If you hit that, it'll take you directly to our 24/7, 365 911 center, essentially. But if you have an emergency, certainly dial 911. But if you have a flat or some kind of disruption to your travel experience on an NCTA road, just pull over safely, hit pound 999. It'll connect you to us and we'll get somebody out to you as quickly as possible for free, by the way. So we had 40,000, nearly 44,400 calls for service in 2021. We've gotten there within 15 minutes. It's a pretty incredible response time, especially for folks who are stuck in traffic. We've done nearly 30,000 motorist assists, and we've also had almost 10,000 responses to road debris. We had talking about things that you found during the cleanup. Last year, we found a wedding dress that had been packed up for storage for some time, apparently, that had fallen and was actually boxed up and still in good shape on the side of the road. We put the call out, but nobody ever responded that it was theirs. We were surprised by that. And then we found some football jerseys a few weeks ago, and we did manage to return them to the team. They didn't want any publicity. It's a 6-man football team in McKinney, I think, because the coach felt bad it fell off the truck. So that's so we do what we can, but we do monitor what we pick up on the roadway as well. That's the Safety Operations Center I mentioned earlier, 24/7, 365, over 2,000 cameras watching the roadway, and really trying to be proactive in finding problems before you have to call or before somebody has to report them. If we can see them on camera, some of our software packages will help detect non-movement. We can get them out to you safely. Here's my red thumb. I meant to bring some red thumbs. I can send some if you'd like, but it's a little device we have that you put on your thumb to remind yourself not to text while driving. And it's silly, but there has to be something. It's something we see not only on our roads, but all over the country, certainly. And it's epidemic. So and we also try to get them to kids, because kids in the back seat will help remind mom and dad not to do that. My teenager, when I brought one home, she said, "It's great, but I can't text with it." It's not the design. But anyway, it's unclear on the concept. Yeah, but we've partnered with a bunch of other entities in the region, transportation, community partners, etc. We have a design contest that is aimed at kids. And they're very creative, as you well know. There's our winner, a 12th grader from Frisco, on just trying to get the message out. So we let them do the work for us. They're happy to enter, they get a prize, but they get the message out. And what we find is that the videos or the graphics that they design are on their level. They're thinking about it as people in the future will be, and quite creative. So that's been good for us. The standard toll tag, of course, is free, but if you want to spend a little money to rep your school and or team, we have those available for most of the major universities in the area, and the sports teams as well. And it's just like your regular toll tag. It's good across the state of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. And if you do travel north, you can use their toll roads as if you were a local, and it'll just bill back to your toll tag. And we have a toll perks problem. It's a program. It's a reward system where the more you drive, the more you earn, and you can get gift cards or spins for things, and just a way of saying thank you for using us. And we also have an app for that, our Toll-Made app, where you can go ahead and plan trips and check tolls and learn more and more about our system. Everybody's going to have an app, so we have one as well. It also helps you contact customer service, as we mentioned earlier. So that's my spiel. My experience now is you probably have a question or two, so fire away.
Section on 183.
Yes.
where there's not a toll? Is that because of proximity to the airport?
No, good question. There is what we have affectionately dubbed 15 years ago, 3 Mile Island. It was a section built and owned by TxDOT, and the Governor Perry at the time said, we're not going to toll that. And that's been the policy ever since. So we connect on either side. And TxDOT did recently approve that and widen it, but that 3 mile or so section is untolled, and there are no plans to do so. Ma'am.
What determines the price of tolls? Because some are like 90 cents, and some almost $2. And it also depends on, like, I noticed, like, what neighborhood is, different, but especially out here in, North Carolina County, one of the issues we have is getting people to come up here and work because they're like too expensive. But a majority will have to take the tollway to get to these other places that we're trying to get employees. So what determines the prices of the tolls?
Multi-level question on that one. And again, taxpayers are not involved. We just collect tolls, and that's how we finance it. So it's not where you're paying twice for the same entity. On the North Texas Tollway Authority system, it's an average of 20 cents per mile of the segments that we have mapped out all across the region. As I mentioned earlier, the toll roads that you see in the middle of the roadways called Texpress lanes, that is not our entity. That is in partnership with the Texas Department of Transportation, more than you want to know about it, but we don't have any control over what they charge. The only function we serve for Texpress lanes is allowing the toll tag to be used. That way you get the lowest rate of whatever but we don't determine that. So it's about 20 cents per mile on average to use the North Texas Tollway Authority across our entire system. It never changes. It's a fixed rate.
So like on 121, to be specific, right?
Right.
So on 121, you'll notice like as you're closer to 75, and I only notice I drive a long time. So when you're closer to 75, it's a lot cheaper. But then as you start going towards like the colony, it like the prices like jump significantly as you're exiting off or coming on. So that
it depends on the segment. It's the same price along the same way, but the length of the segment that we divided up into that you travel into. So it's a fixed rate and about 20 cents, give or take, per mile on average.
What's the approximate cost to go 1 mile? If it's on the ground, one cost it's 8.
I would have to ask the engineers. I know the bridge over 380 is just more than a mile, and I think that costs in excess somewhere between 60 and 70 million dollars for 1 mile. Well, keep in mind that and again, I don't know where you travel and how you drive the area, but the end of the tollway, as we know it now, was at 380, and both were at ground level. So you had a lot of interchanging with traffic that was not the best. So TxDOT came in and built an east-west bridge over 380, and when they were finished, then we began our bridge to go over that. So you're talking about, a structure that's at the 3rd level, and you have to have, you can't have it. It's not a roller coaster at Six Flags. It's going to be gradual. The drainage has to be good. There's all these things that I don't want to get out of my element, but they're expensive to build. And, with the cost of materials and supplies, it's only getting more so. So again, we reinvest the money that we have collected and try to keep building, because our main mission is to provide transportation for the region. Again, people would, if they could build the road as a tax road or as a TxDOT road, they would do so. The reason we came into being because there's demand for, we're growing like a weed and we got to get people where they're going or else we're going to be gridlocked. So, sir.
For example, I-30 used to be the turnpike.
Correct.
And now it's free. Do you ever anticipate any of these tournaments to be paid for? And not charge tolls, or is that a forever thing?
We do not. And here's the reason. That was a different aegis. That was the Texas Turnpike Authority. They did that and they made that promise that when they paid off the bonds, that would be it, which they did in 1977. If you've been in the area for a while, you've heard that, or you remember when it was a tollway or your folks told you about it. Two things about that. I don't know if you've been to the ballpark or to Jerry World lately. They are just now, 45 years later, building an interchange with 360 because of the way it was built. You didn't want to encourage an interchange at that time. So 45 years later, a multi-million-dollar project to kind of make that road the way it should be. You look at we inherited essentially the Dallas North Tollway as it went up through right on the edge of Addison. Well, that's been extended all the way through Plano, through Frisco, and we're heading north. So you can't look at just a section of a road. It's like looking at your house. I mean, you remodeled the bathroom and you paid that off, but you're still paying the rest of the house and you're still constantly improving. So I know it's not this what people want to hear, but the other aspect is kind of back to the I-3360 example. Forgive me if I'm long-winded, but I mean, they're always being maintained. These roads don't just sit there and, I mean, they're constantly driven on. They have to be improved and widened. So that's why it is the way it is. Do
you think the original section of the toll road's going to get widened? Or is it like as wide as it?
We just embarked on a 2-year study that will look out ahead of all the possible things you could do. We were going to do it before the pandemic, but then the pandemic. So it'll be a look at, what could we possibly do? But I will tell you, as we readily admit, I mean, we're within our footprint in the park cities, especially, but Addison as well, and there's nowhere to go. So
add a multi-level deal or something?
I'll come back in 2 years and we'll see what the study says. But I mean, you have to understand within reason and what people will accept and whatnot. So we'll see, ma'am.
So, I know you said it wasn't tax at all. So the bonds, are they private bonds? So where do y'all get the money to borrow? Like we got borrowed the money from state to do that.
Right. So we sell bonds and then we have to repay those bonds with interest. So they go out to the market and investors buy the bonds, but then we have to, over the years, repay them with interest. So that's how we get funding that we put into the construction. So that money goes into the construction. And then over the years, as we get the tolls back, we pay off those bonds. Sir.
When you were requiring right away for extension of the toll, were people on board with that, or was there a lot of pushback? Was there any right-of-way dedication by the landowner?
A lot of what we've done over the past years, and it looks like it into Salina and Prosper, has been donated, because if you do have land interests up there, you've held onto a piece of land, investors or whatever, they know that the way it's situated, it's possible to donate a portion of that land because they will then be adjacent to it where all this expected development happens. Now, don't get me into saying how that works with whom, but that's the general gist of it, is that developers, I mean, we've had this routing up through Salina, Prosper, as long as I've been here, and I've been here coming up on 12 years. So I think that actually went back to 7 or 8, maybe. So the routing it's for all to see, and investors, developers, et cetera, can kind of react accordingly. Yes.
Some years ago, I would regularly see reports of the unpaid tolls, and I was amazed by the tens of thousands of dollars that some people had amassed and had not paid. And so I know that the softball rules came into being, and maybe that could incentivize people a little bit, but I'm just curious, does the toll authority have a mechanism for causing a person to actually pay those debts, or is it just take your chances, you might get caught, how does that work?
You mentioned the scofflaw rules, and that was a tool we got from the legislature several years ago. And what it allows us to do is this is not for a soccer mom or a dad going to a golf tournament and happens onto a roadway. This is to be a scofflaw. You are a habitual violator. You have to have had at least 100 unpaid tolls in the last calendar year, which we think is still a lot. But again, we do what the legislature says we can do, and at least took 2 notices of non-payment. So in other words, you are aware that you are doing something you shouldn't be doing. So what that allows us to do is block the registration of the vehicle owner. We can also impound the vehicle at some point if they're egregious. But we find that the tool given us those years ago has really been pretty effective, because you always have to register your car, and you cannot do so if you fall under this law. So we feel like it's brought it down. Even before the toll gates and toll booths were taken away, there were people who would run tolls. I mean, it's not a new phenomenon. We try to do it. We try to be responsible because we know that people who take the time to get toll tags like you did and pay their bills, they don't want to be driving next to somebody who's not participating. It's issue of fairness, and we do everything we can to make sure everybody who uses the toll road pays for the toll road. That's the system, and we work as hard as we can towards that.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Really great to see you. I love being in front of an audience and appreciate your interest. Thanks again for having us.
Recording stuff.
We got one more thing.
Yes, and I neglected to put the slide up again. I do that after every networking event. So in appreciation of your time and the program that you provide for us.
Chicken fried steak.
Yes, that too. We make a donation in your name to the Polio Plus Foundation.
Really?
Yes. So that you can expect a thank you note from Rotary International for making a contribution in your name. So we donate $10 in your name, which equates to $30,000 with matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Thank you very much.
So thank you. Thank you. All right. So next week, Kathy Shockley with the Alzheimer's Association is going to come and share some of the great things they do. I've heard her present many times. She is a truly phenomenal lady. And the Alzheimer's Association does so much more than what you think. They're educational, they're advocating, their groups. I mean, they do a lot. So you don't want to miss Kathy's presentation next week. So with that, let's stand and do our 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it second? Is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And 5, is it fun? Rotary. Thank you all so much.